Hello again, and welcome to the Women's Awards celebration of International Women's Day today, Monday, the 8th of March, 2021. And I'm Sandra Pollock, founder of the Women's Awards, but many of you probably know that already. So today I've invited a couple of my friends to chat with me about what does International Women's Day mean for them. And you can see my next guest, David Wilkes. David and I have been friends for a good few years now, and he is a brave man because he is the first man on the talks today. So no pressure at all. David, welcome.
Great. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Welcome. So, David, before we get started, just share a little bit with everybody about what you do. You're a consultant like me. What do you consult on?
So indeed, well, I'm more on the business consultancy side. That's what Tudor Rose. I formed it back in about 2004. We went through a bit of a revelation and then reformed it in 2015. Working with solopreneurs, SMEs, and I also do some corporate work as well. It's just trying to make businesses run better, working with the business owners, that sort of area. Okay.
Brilliant. And I love the fact that you said changed it, retweaked it, and sometimes people are scared to do that, but that's a different topic. I don't want us to get, we can talk about business all day, so we don't want to get us waylaid by that. So I want us to focus more on why we're here today. So David, when you saw me put the call out, we were saying before we went on, you saw me put the call out, and what did you think?
Sandra needs some help, and it's time to help. Because I'm a co-founder as well of Next Step for Business. If I can just Next Step for Business. We have a weekly podcast for those people that don't know, and we talk all about various different aspects to do with business. Okay, I set that up with a lovely lady called Marie Ellis. We met through the same business club that Sandra and I are in. And it literally was one of those problems we were kicking around, and we went, we've got a solution here. It's going to take the two of us to come together and make it happen. This is actually important for, I think, the sort of area that we're going to talk about. Sandra, you and I, yes, have been friends for a long time. You've appeared on our podcast, which it's absolutely fantastic that you do. You bring a wealth of knowledge, and you've also been able to tackle a couple of different areas as well, which is just brilliant. So providing platforms for that sort of stuff, and what we're trying to do, certainly with the podcast, it's all free, and we're trying to help businesses grow. Okay. Now the reason for saying that it's about businesses, it's not about blokes, or it's not about white old blokes, you know what I mean? This is about people and about growing. Okay. So what does the International Women's Day mean to me as a bloke? Well, quite simply, it's awareness. Now, Sandra, you and I have talked about this before. I know potentially a lot of the people listening to haven't heard that, but we've talked about how important awareness is, and I think that at the end of the day, yes, there's been some great moves forward in a number of different areas to do with the differentiation between the sexes, or if it's cultural, religious, or whatever else, never mind sexuality and all these other different views on life. Okay, we collectively all need to be aware of how other people are feeling. And if we can start to embrace that properly, and there's been a number of steps on this, but if we can embrace that and take it in, then we can do bigger and better things. So this is all about collaboration.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And that is precisely the point that I not only wanted today to talk with women like myself, but I also wanted to invite you guys to come along and share as well, because I passionately believe that if we're to change the world, it takes everybody. It takes both genders, it takes different cultures, different religions. It takes everybody to come together and to find what we have in common. and to celebrate the differences instead of, you know, using them as something that pulls us apart. So you mentioned, you know, another business that you run with Marie Ellis. Why did you do? This may seem like a silly question, but when you decided to create that other business, why did you choose Marie? Because I know there are lots of different guys out there who are, Marie's an accountant, and, you know, that do the same thing. So what was there any question with regard to choosing Marie or choosing somebody else in terms of gender we're talking about here?
Do you know, at the time, it just didn't even occur to me that this sounds stupid, that Marie was a lady rather than a bloke. It genuinely just didn't even occur to me that, you know, that should be considered. Is the truth. I'm not trying to make myself out to be a saint. I'm far from it. I really am. However, you know, at the end of the day, I like to mix with what I call radiators. These are people that you know, are giving out positive energy, that they're constructive, they want to collaborate and work in that sort of area. And I move away from what I call the drains. So these are people that, you know, you've sat in meetings with them or whatever else, and at the end of it, you feel a smaller person because they've sucked the life out of you. You know the ones that out, yeah. So that's what I call the drains, and where the radiators. And if we started focusing a lot more on working with and interacting with positive people, your radiators, okay, your mental health is in a better place.
Yes,
it really is, you know. And I don't, regardless if you're working from home or not, you know, you will find your own business will grow, okay, because they will be inspiring you and you will be inspiring them, and the positivity just keeps circling up. You know, and all of that sort of aspect. If, however, you dwell on all of those people that just take and zap all of your energy, okay, and have you noticed I've not differentiated about, you know, what part of the spectrums they come from or any of that sort of stuff. These are just general people, you know, and if we all focus on that aspect and made less of the differences, the physical differences, okay, and more about, you know, that the energy that people have, I think we'd start to overcome some of these other issues better. I'm not saying it's going to be the silver bullet. There aren't any silver bullets, but what we can do is try and live by what we believe. So that's a very long answer to a short thing. Was no, that's
absolutely
no reason. There was no reason.
Absolutely fine. Because what I wrote down from what you were saying there is that, you know, we focus on what people bring more than all of the others. What do they look like, what gender they are, and that sort of stuff. And I agree with you. And I tend to do that. I work with, you know, lots and lots of people, hundreds of people, and I'm more focused on, as you say, what energy they bring, but what are their skills, what's their attitude, what's their motive, you know, what gets them up in the morning. You know, those things are more important to me, because skills you can learn, but sort of attitude and that sort of stuff takes a little, they can be changed, but they take a little more time. So so I wrote down, focus on what people bring and not their gender. You know, that absolutely makes a difference.
100%. And again, it's that, because I mean, let's face it, it doesn't matter who sits on your board, or, you know, or who you're interacting with, and this, that, and the other, from their appearance, unless you're in the modeling and you've got to have a certain size, shape, or whatever that fits a particular mold, it makes very little difference to most businesses. What does matter is, you know, even you mentioned about skills. If people haven't got 100% skills, but they've got the right attitude and the right enthusiasm, give me an army. Well, give me a handful of those people, and I'll outdo any army of, you know what I mean, all these so-called skilled people. But if their attitude's not there, we'll crush them every time. So
why do you think, being a male, why do you think that there is still this slowness to incorporate such a simple idea and the impact of that is, opportunities for women on boards, and, when I say opportunities, I'm talking, not only opportunities to start business or career development. Financial bias is a huge one that women in business face all the time. So from being a guy, do you have an answer to that? Why is that still the case? Don't worry, I'm not asking you to report on behalf of all men, but
well, I'm going to let you down then if I'm supposed to. Do you know? I don't know what the answer is there. I don't. I can honestly say it's not. We talk about that in the bathrooms when we go to the toilet or anything like that. So I think certainly on the large corporate world, they're trying to address that. I think that the world of solopreneurs, you're finding more and more ladies starting businesses and whatever else. For the ladies, they need to be going out and asking for help. And I'm not just talking about just this is for business for me, but just find yourself a business buddy. That even if they've got the same sort of thing, and join network clubs and whatever else. These, if you get the right network clubs, they can really help your business. And that's how, look at the body shop. It started off from, a small startup, and progressed. In some of the times, if you're not getting the career you want, and this applies to blokes as well, but especially for ladies, if you're feeling you're being held back in family businesses or whatever else, because that can be more of a closed shop sometimes, then strike out and show the world that you're prepared to take a few gambles. Do they have to work harder? I'm not a female, so I can't turn.
Yeah, they do. I'm saying yes, because it goes back to, we're talking about, in order for, and it's proven, this isn't just Sandra's words, it's proven, all the data is there that women will find it harder to get funding, if at all, than a guy. And the difficulty with that is that predominantly the people with the money are guys, in terms of the management of that, not that they particularly own it alone, but the decision makers. So, I just wanted to know from the perspective of a male, if you'd given any thought to that as a reality for women, even in the 21st century. And no's a no okay answer. I know I'm putting you on the spot.
You've made me feel very uncomfortable, so thank you, Sandra. I guess, again, the reason for joining in discussions like this is to be asked awkward questions, difficult questions, and it becomes part of that awareness, experience. And how else can we get better? We should be seeking continuous improvement, each one of us. And sometimes, you have to put your hand in the fire a little bit just to feel how hot it is. So thank you for that, Sandra.
You're very welcome.
I don't have a good answer for that one.
No, and that's okay. I mean, that's absolutely okay. It's not about having the answers. As you rightly said, it's about raising the awareness. It's about realizing that there are questions out there that we struggle with, that, that may be new to us, that may put us into a different framework in terms of our mindset, or what we see or what we don't see. But even like people like yourself, or consultants like me, we go into businesses, we bring about change, we help with processes, all of that sort of stuff. We can still, from our vantage point, as we become more and more aware, begin to see things and ask questions, so that we pass on that ripple of awareness to other people.
Without a doubt. Thanks to attending some of the chats you and I have had, and with some of the other areas, what I'm sort of hinting at here, but it does make you more aware, and so therefore, when speaking with other organisations, you can then start to influence. It's an overused phrase, but you do influence and sort of saying, well, why aren't you bringing so and so up with this, or or whatever else. And I think that makes such a powerful way. And I guess if we all contribute a small amount, it will make such a groundswell of change.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I agree. And I think I've drilled you enough for one day, David.
It's getting quite warm.
Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for joining us for this discussion. And I love that, you know, for helping us to raise awareness, because at the end of the day, that's what it's about. You know, why is there a need to celebrate women? And that comes down to the lack of recognition that they have historically received for lots of different reasons. And we hope that in some way, you know, hopefully, you know, guys watching this will, you know, be able to like you and put their hand up and say, you know what, I don't know. Maybe I do need to find out more. Maybe I do need to, you know, talk to women or business women or, you know, people in different positions. And they don't necessarily have to be business women. They could be, you know, mothers at home or other people in the community, to just say, what is your view? So Karen Curitan is watching. Hi, Karen. We both know Karen very well. So thank you. I really appreciate you coming in and talking to us openly and honestly from your perspective. Now, I would be remiss if I did not remind everybody that nominations for the Women's Awards are open, and you can nominate, and I'm teasing the fact that we have some more new categories, which I am not going to take away from today. Today is celebrating women. So tomorrow there will be a press release going out about what those two new categories are. So watch this space. And David, any final words before
I was just going to say, well, thank you for doing things like the Women's Awards. You know, this shouldn't be just all about, you know, one day in the year. This should be, you know, something that we all need to pick up and run with throughout the year. It's great that we get people to stop and think for a day, but you know, with the awards, the build up to it, and the big celebration that you do for that, I think only helps with that sort of area. And again, you know, I think it's okay not to not have all the answers. It's, you know, it's not okay to do nothing about it.
Love that.
Double negative then, hopefully not. But look, it's, you know, it's in each one of our power to make a difference.
Right. Love that. I love that so much. Thank you, David. It's wonderful to have you with me to you know, talk about this really important topic. And I'm sure we will catch up again soon. So see you soon.
Thanks so much, Sandra.